Hello and welcome everyone. So I'm going to do a brief video here on the traditional Chinese medical view of food therapy. And as you can see here, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, that's what TCM stands for. And basically this is going to highlight a little more about how to balance the spleen and energetic system. And you're going to think, oh, I thought salad was good for me. And, you know, there was a lot of stuff in the 80s and 90s that mentioned health food proponents touted the benefits of the raw foods, of the importance of enzymes and raw food for digestion. But as we all know, you cannot be on a raw food diet. I mean, some people have been for their whole life, but you're going to ruin your digestive fire and actually most likely destroy it if you stay on a raw food diet for a number of years. This wouldn't happen in 6 months or a year or even a couple years. I mean, we're talking about, let's say you're on it 5 to 10 years, and then you want to eat a piece of salmon. It's going to make it very difficult for your body to digest that, because your digestive fire has most likely burned out by that time frame. So raw diets can have benefits for temporary use. When you go beyond that, you're going to need to understand that raw foods tend to be cold, and overconsumption of them will damage the spleen and energetic organ system. But the reason here I also want to explain is, and I've mentioned this in some of the other videos, what they're not going to highlight on here, if you're living in an environment where you have a toxic environment, a high humidity, mold, and the reason I emphasize this is I've been in those environments, and without knowing it, something's behind your wall. Those are going to cause a wide variety of health problems. I don't care what diet you eat. You're not going to improve those issues in your body until you correct the underlying cause, which is caused by the air in those spores. So if you're on a raw diet and you're not getting healthy, that may be one of the major factors. If you're on a raw diet and you've done it for a year and you feel that your body needs some cooked food, you need to start eating some steamed vegetables, and you need to start looking at some of these different areas, such as internal dampness, which I've mentioned in other videos. And for those of you that don't understand Chinese medicine, they categorize everything, and for example, internal dampness is an issue, and they're going to give you the foods here and what to avoid. That's why this article I'm going to leave a link to below this video is important for all of you to understand. Okay, if you go to any traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, they'll be able to help you pinpoint what area you may need to work on and what foods to avoid. Okay, and I've also talked about the ice water that some people think it's going to help them lose weight, and you really want to avoid that. So at this point, you really want to stick with the warm water. You want to stick with vegetables. Brussels sprouts and asparagus are amazing, as well as any leafy greens. You can steam those. In the beginning, when you're starting out detoxing, you certainly can do shakes. You can watch some of my older videos that will give examples of that. You could throw in maybe 3 or 4 vegetables and maybe a couple fruits. You want to keep your vegetables higher than your fruits. When you're eating fruit, it's fine, but juicing excessive amounts of fruit takes all the fiber out, and you're not going to be able to have the benefits that you would by chewing fruit. So just keep that in mind, okay? And once again here, I want to go over the food therapy for liver imbalances. If you need to tonify the liver blood, this is what you need to do. If cool liver heat, you need to do this. Liver wind is a little bit more serious of a condition, so here you're going to want to avoid eggs, crab meat, and buckwheat. And again, this is why mainly fruits and vegetables are so important for people that have liver issues. Once you correct those, you can go in, you can start adding a few other foods. But once you go to a diet that's consisting of a lot of animal products, you're going to be unbalanced in your yin and yang, and you're going to cause more problems. So you really want to keep a high amount of fruits and vegetables. If you want to eat some seafood, some wild salmon or some crab, that is not going to harm you unless you have a certain issue in the body, which it could put you backwards and forwards. So there's a few recipes on here, and I just want everyone to go ahead and notice this before I end this video. If you want to maintain health, they recommend 25% of your daily intake of foods to be vegetables. That's 1/4 of your diet. Okay, you could eat. Again, I'm not a fan of beans, but if you want to eat lentils, lentils are awesome if you sprout them. These are something that anyone can add to their diet. Nuts and seeds, I'm more of a fan of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. Pumpkin seeds have a lot of zinc and other nutrients, and these are excellent for people to add any additional fat, good fats that they may need, as well as sunflower seeds have a lot of vitamin E. So it's all about balance, folks. So as we went over the lentils, we went over the nuts and seeds, and then grains. I'm not a big fan of these. I mean, I particularly feel a lot better not consuming grains. I don't consume any sweeteners. Oils such as coconut oil that's cold pressed or raw is fine. Dairy I'm not a fan of unless you're using raw milk, maybe for a 30-day, 60-day period, coming off of a junk diet. But excess dairy products will cause more mucus and other issues in the body, so they are not necessary. Again, when you're getting into beverages, you're better off with the herbal teas, which it shows on here, green tea especially, and anything, maybe even a chamomile is great for digestion, something along those lines. Animal protein, again, they're telling you 5 to 10% of your diet, so you really want to keep this down very low. You don't want to eat every meal with an animal product. It's not going to help your health. Fruits, they're saying about 5%. You could go higher than that in the beginning, but overall, as your diet progresses with your overall changes and moving forward, you really want to limit the amount of fruit. You want to stick with berries. I still say you could go maybe 15% of your diet, maybe 20%, but you really want to keep the vegetables higher than your fruit, even if you're chewing them. Steam the vegetables, consume fruit such as berries. You could use the goji berries, the mulberries, the golden berries, etc. Just one bowl of those a day, and some fresh fruit. Maybe even have some pineapple. But I mean, if you're really detoxing, you want to stick with the berries, and you want to stick with the leafy greens. Asparagus will help, Brussels sprouts will help, and all of those are going to be beneficial if you're steaming vegetables. If you're doing shakes, then you want to use, like I said, about 3 or 4, 5 tops of the vegetables, maybe 1 or 2 fruits. Stick to fruits such as berries, maybe throw a kiwi, something of that nature, or you could even use an apple. Apple pretty much goes with anything. Any questions, go ahead and let me know. Take these tips and start moving forward, and also using more of a lifelong particular diet and a plan to keep you moving forward. If you're using the health guide, all that's already done for you. You don't have to worry about this. There's enough fruits and vegetables and particular foods that are going to keep people going strong for a long time. Just again, the raw dairy, take out after about a 30 to 60 day period. Thank you.